So as soon as I started earning my own money, I was at university, and I realized that there wasn't a lot of room to make financial mistakes, even though I was still young. So I'm gonna tell you the best decision I made a few years ago that allowed me to have the life that I have right now. So when I started working while studying, while doing my bachelor at the University of Montreal, I was doing a bachelor in history for those who want to know, and I was working at multiple places. I remember like I had a job at Tim Hortons for a few months. I also had another job at Hydro-Québec for a few months answering phones, and I had even a job at La Ronde. Multiple places basically I work. And something that I realized quickly while I was at university is that my peers were not in the same situation as me, because I had a lot of friends that were international students, so their parents were paying their tuition, or some of them were working to help pay their tuition. And I had a few friends also who moved out of their parents' house. They were already sharing an apartment, working just to pay their rent, groceries, transportation, stuff like that. And me, I was working, but I was still living at my parents' house, which is like I had no rent, no roommate, no car, and no major like financial burden basically. So all of my money, I was spending it on my phone, clothes, and personal expense. And one thing that I didn't do is that I didn't really travel. In the summer I worked full times, and while school was going on I was working part-time. So the decision that I made early that really changed everything for me, and that I want to share with you today, is that I opened an RRSP while I was working part-time. So for those who don't know, what's an RRSP? An RRSP is a registered savings plan that help you save money for retirement, but also you can use to either buy a house, go back to school, and stuff like that. The RRSP also help you reduce your taxes. So I opened one, like FTQ, which is basically an investment fund for workers in Quebec. So I put on every 2 weeks $250. Mind you, I was working part-time, so basically it was a lot of money around that time when I was doing it, to put that much. So I had a few $100 left, but not much after putting the RSP, because it was a priority for me when I learned of it, and I really wanted to buy like a condo in the future, so that's why I did that. But I didn't do it for like a year. I do it for like a couple of years, which really down the line really helped me, so that I was able to buy a property in 2021. So basically what was really helpful with the FTQ fund is that they take the money out of my paycheck before I even receive my my money. So it was before taxes, which really helped, because like before it reached my bank account I already had that money saved. So that helped me not being able to use it basically, because if I had to do it manually to send it in, which at a few times I had to do, I usually send less money than I wanted to. So in the long term that really helped to, because it's automatic and you can save a lot of money that way. The consistency gave me a lot, because like by doing that for a few years I was able to have $15,000 in my RSP, and I took part of that to be able to pay half of a down payment on a house. If it was today that I was doing that, I would not probably use an RSP, because now the government created, I think a few years ago, what's called an FHSA, which is a fund but just for home buyers. The FHSA, which is the first home saving plan, is designed today to help people buy their first home. So it gives you tax deduction like the RSP, but tax-free withdrawal like the tfsa, which is a different type of savings account that also exists in Canada. So as long as you put the money in your FHSA to buy home, you could put up to $8,000 in a year and $40,000 max. So which means that in a few years, if you put money aside, you're gonna have enough to be able to buy a house or put a down payment in a house. So young people, you have it better today than I did a few years ago, because now I'm still repaying that money that I took out of my RRSP because it's meant for my retirement, not just to buy a house. Basically, that's the difference between now the FHSA that you can use to just buy a house and you don't have to repay it. So the reason that matter a lot in Montreal is because like rent always increases, costs are always going up, life always get more expensive, heavier and stuff. So if I didn't do that earlier, I would not be where I am today, because I would probably not be able to buy a house as fast as I did. If you don't do that, then when you're never gonna be able to buy anything, basically, because rent always increases, life always costs more. So if I didn't do that at an early age, when it didn't really cost me much, I didn't have to like starve myself or do anything extreme. All I had to do is be consistent and just put the money away. It really allowed me to have the life that I have today. So when you're in a big city, housing are always expensive. So that's something that you can do if your country basically have this type of plan to allow you to save in a few years, maybe 10 years if you cannot do it as quickly as I did. But so if you're still in this stage in your life, basically create a structure that help you invest, put money aside. If you're in Canada, open a FHSA, open a RSP, put money aside. Even if it's not a lot, just do it. With time it's gonna compound, and then that way you're gonna be able to have a huge reward. So if this resonates with you and you're still at the beginning of your financial life in a city in Montreal or elsewhere in Canada, hope you make the right choices at the beginning. Then that way you're gonna have a great future or option when it comes to if you want or not to buy a house, basically. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.